So we need to talk about Ironwood, and what's going to happen to him throughout the rest of Volume 8, because as of right now, his fate seems pretty much guaranteed in my mind. I will say spoiler warnings for those who haven't seen episode 10 of Volume 8 just yet, as I will be going over a couple of the things that happen in that episode, so just a fair warning on that. Up until now, Ironwood's actions in Volume 8 have been pretty reprehensible. From, starting off with shooting his fellow councilman in the head without saying a word, to trying to leave an entire city to fend for themselves against Salem while he takes off with the city of Atlas into the sky. Yes, it is to protect the relic, but there are other ways of going about that, especially since that entire plan is pretty much moot at this point. Once Salem and Monstra landed on Atlas, raising it into the sky would do nothing to escape Salem because she's going to be coming along for the ride. Even now, Salem is going to regenerate on the floating city, so Ironwood's fixation on getting the Relic of Creation to raise Atlas into the sky is just going to bring Salem along with him. And if he has the relic from the vault, then that means she can come and get it at any point in time. And once she does, she could just skydive from Atlas, and once she splats on the ground, she can regenerate and have the relic in hand. And Ironwood would just be left on the floating city of Atlas, watching as the rest of Remnant gets destroyed. So, at this point, Ironwood's plan doesn't really seem feasible, unless he has some way to knock Salem off of Atlas, which, in theory, if he used the shockwave from the bomb that was meant for Monstra, that could perhaps do it. However, he has different plans for that bomb at the moment. His actions are now completely unforgivable, because the Schneedust Company ships that Whitley and Weiss had sent to Mantle to evacuate the citizens from the Kingdom of Atlas entirely, Ironwood shot them down so that he can use the lives of the citizens of Mantle to get Penny to do what he wants, because he's now threatening to take that bomb that was meant for Monstra and deliver it right into the center of Mantle and destroy the citizens himself. We saw in May's message that all of the citizens are being evacuated to the mines in Mantle, so presumably, even if the bomb does explode in Mantle, I think there's a reasonable chance that the citizens could survive if they are able to make it deep enough into the mines. Because presumably these mines have been active for quite a while and would be quite extensive. So if the citizens are able to make it deep enough, they would avoid the blast radius, and yes, a number of the mine shafts would be collapsed at that point, but I would imagine that there are a number of different exits. And with this bomb being meant to destroy Monstra, it's not like it can destroy the entirety of the city of Mantle. Right now the population is pretty concentrated at the crater underneath the city of Atlas, but I have a hard time believing Ironwood would be able to deliver that to the right point in the mines where all the citizens are, so I'd imagine they would be able to survive to some extent, find a different exit out of the mines, but it's an absolutely unforgivable act to cut off the citizens' best chance at survival like this. And now that he's given his ultimatum to Penny and the rest of their group, that they have 1 hour to get to the vault and open it to allow him to get the Relic of Creation, then that says to me that Ironwood has approximately an hour left to live within the RWBY universe. Because Crow is certainly going to try to stop him from doing that, and Robin, who is kind of, I'd imagine, on the fence about just killing Ironwood, is not going to have any qualms about that now. She has devoted her life to defending the people of Mantle, and now Ironwood is actively threatening to kill them all himself. So Robin's definitely going to be on board with taking out Ironwood. And so, with Crow and Robin now freed from prison, they are going to be making a beeline for Ironwood, and that confrontation is probably going to happen within the next couple episodes. And if I had to take a guess, I would say that Crow is going to win that fight. The way that I see it breaking down is Crow is going to be able to make it to Ironwood, while Robin holds off Harriet, because Harriet is really pissed at Crow for killing Clover. She doesn't believe that Tyrion was responsible, and I feel like Robin would kind of hold her off so Crow can go ahead and confront Ironwood. While the rest of the Aesops might either back off or be busy with other things, Harriet's gonna kind of deviate from Ironwood's orders to pursue Crow, but Robin will stop him. And during that confrontation, I think it might come out that Harriet was in love with Clover to some extent, because, Clover being all about good luck and the lucky rabbit's foot, I feel like that might make sense. And then it might also come out that Robin is catching feelings for Crow, and, you know, I feel like a lot of relationships are going to come to fruition in Volume 8, and we'll see how things play out depending on who ends up surviving by the end of it. But Crow versus Ironwood, I put my money on Crow winning that fight, and whether he actually ends up killing Ironwood is another question. I don't see Ironwood surviving past the end of Volume 8. Either Crow's going to do him in right then and there, which would make sense if he's trying to prevent Ironwood from giving that order that would deliver the bomb to Mantle, and also Crow's own personal vendetta against him, or during that fight, Ironwood's aura is going to be broken, and with that his semblance will be deactivated, his focus on that one goal will be broken, and so he might come to his senses, realize that he's done some very unforgivable things, and then try to make things right with his final act by sacrificing himself. It won't necessarily make things right, but try to make up for some of the harm that he's done. And this could go one of two ways in my mind right now. One way is that Ironwood, with this last ultimatum, has already given the order to a couple of his programmable Atlesian knights to deliver the bomb to Mantle. And so once that hour is up, regardless of whether Ironwood is still breathing or not, the ship will just go to Mantle and explode the bomb. And it would need Ironwood's order to stop that from happening. But if Ironwood's killed before that, then it would happen anyways, so what I could see Ironwood doing in the last moment is jumping aboard that ship with the bomb itself, and then kind of pulling a Dark Knight Rises kind of ending, where he flies the ship out into the middle of the sea and the bomb explodes with him on board. He had decided to abort that mission by sacrificing his life. Or I could also see it where if he snaps out of it and the vault is already opened, he could take Atlas into the sky using the Relic of Creation, doing what he planned to do initially, but with a different end result in mind, having Salem already on Atlas, and likely having ordered his military to evacuate all of the civilians that are currently stuck in the subway. If he is able to evacuate all of Atlas, which, given that there's probably only a couple of hours to do so, it may not be that likely, but he would try to raise Atlas into the atmosphere as high as he possibly could to get Salem and trap her in the atmosphere. Because if they can get beyond Earth's gravity, then Salem just floating in space would be relatively harmless. She still has a human body, though it is immortal, it is still human, so she would, in theory, be in an eternal state of suffocation and being stuck with no oxygen. I think that might work, though she does have magic and would likely be able to propel herself forward back into the atmosphere in some way, shape, or form, but that could be a last-ditch effort by Ironwood to, one, sacrifice himself in an effort to finally defeat Salem. It would probably not end up working because there's still multiple other volumes of RWBY left, but still it would be a last-ditch effort. Salem would then get the Relic of Creation and probably jump back down to Remnant, again splattering on the ground and then regenerating, having the Relic of Creation in hand. But currently she doesn't have the Relic of Knowledge, so that would be something, at least. One relic for each side, assuming Team RWBY is able to get the Relic of Knowledge back from Neo or Cinder or whoever has it at that point, but a different topic entirely. But that's how I see things playing out for Ironwood. Either Crow's gonna kill him outright, or Robin perhaps too. Both of them have a little bit of a grudge against him, though I feel like Robin would talk Crow out of it because he is better than that. Robin sees him as better than that. He has a kind heart and wouldn't want Crow to lower himself to just being a flat-out murderer. So I think that Crow and Robin might decide to spare him in the end, and then Ironwood would go to a different route of either taking the bomb on a ship himself and going out that way, or trying to raise Atlas into the sky with Salem on it in an effort to defeat her himself. So, a couple different ways that this could play out, and I'm sure there's other options available, but let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Do you think that one of these three scenarios is likely for Ironwood to meet his end, or do you think that things will play out a bit differently? Or even, do you think that Ironwood will survive past the end of Volume 8? Either which way, I'd be really curious to know what you guys think. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did want to see more RWBY content, analyses, theories, etc., make sure to subscribe and join the Guild of the Eternal Flame. Tweet me at PhoenixKnight7, and I'll see you guys in the next video.